Hello everyone, we will solve this today's LeetCode problem. This is an insert interval. Today's LeetCode problem is insert interval, which is a medium problem. So let's try it. You are given an array of non-overlapping intervals, where intervals I is start and end I represent the start and the end of the ith interval, and intervals is sorted in ascending order by start. We also given an interval, new interval, this start and end, that represent the start and end of another interval. Insert new interval into intervals such that the intervals is still sorted in ascending order by start, and intervals still doesn't have any opening intervals, overlapping intervals. Merge overlapping intervals if necessary. Return intervals after the insertion. Okay, and we can't modify intervals in place. Okay. So one thing which is come in my mind, you don't need to modify intervals in a place. Okay, so we need to insert this new interval in this interval, and then we need to merge that over. If there are overlapping intervals, then we need to also merge overlapping intervals, right? So this is 1 3, this is 2 5. So where should this will be inserted? In between both of these. So 1 3 and 2 5 has an overlapping, which comes to 1 5 and 6 9. Again, if we see this 1 2 3 5 6 7 9 8 10 and 12 16, this 4 8 will come here. I think is here at the third index. If we see this as a one indexed array, then this will be comes at third index. So after overlapping, after merging this is 1 2, then this 5 and 4 8 will be overlapping, then this becomes 3 8. Now 3 8, let's rewrite this for better understanding. So this 1 2 is separate, right? This is separate. Now this 3 5 and 4 8 will overlap. Now it becomes 3 8. 3 8 and 6 7 is overlapping, so this is inside this 3 8. So we will also don't take this. Now 8 and 10 is overlapping at 8. Then now we will take this 10, and 12 16 is different, so we will consider this as separate. So this will be our answer, right? So this will be a merge intervals problem if you have done previously, right? This is simply a merge intervals with slightest modification. So what we have done in what if you haven't done the question merge intervals, I prefer I tell you to do that first, then comes to this problem, merge intervals, right? So you should do that first. So what I can see is this is a merge intervals problem, right? What we do in merge intervals, we simply sort it. We will simply sort it with according to a starting point, right? According to a starting point, we will sort it. We sort it according to start point, and then we see that if the first element is overlapping with its previous value or not, right? With its previous value or not, right? That's a simple implementation problem. If the first element is overlapping with its previous value or not, right? Previous value or not. If it is overlapping, then we will simply take the max of the ending point and store it in, because the starting point will be always the previous start point, right? Previous starting point, because that will be the minimum value. So we will see simply max, and we will store in that. Again, for checking, we will include that. So if we see this, let's suppose this is an example for merge intervals. I'm not discussing right now this insert interval. I'm just telling you the approach of merge intervals, right? We will come later on this insert interval. So for sort according to start, we will this is, if we see, this is already sorted in according to start value, right? This 1 3 6 8 12. So what I can do is I will start from this 1th index. If we take as a 0 index, right? So let's 0 1 2 3 and this is 4. So if we start from 1th index, I will see that whether this is overlapping or not. So we will see that whether this current current start value, right, current start is less than or equals to this previous start or previous ending or not. So if it is this condition fulfilled, this is an overlapping condition, right? This is an overlapping condition, because if it is fulfilling, then I am sure that this both are overlapping if previous end is bigger than its starting point. So what I will store in this, that I will store in current end is max value of current end and its previous value of end, right? Because start end value, we don't know about end value, right? It can be anything. So this is an overlapping condition, and if this is not and if it is not, then we will simply take that current start and end point into our answer, because that will be that is not overlapping, so we can't merge that, so we will take that in answer, right? So we will see this. So what will the type of complexity, that will be O of n, and we are not adding any. Okay, so we can't modify intervals in place, right? So if we can't modify intervals in place, yeah, still we can't modify, right? So okay, this is already sorted, given or not, okay, this is already sorted in ascending order. I missed this. Intervals is already sorted in ascending start, right? So this is already sorted, so we don't need to sort it again, but in merge intervals. But in now we comes to this problem, insert interval. This is the whole part of merge intervals approach. If we see insert interval, there's slightest modification. We just need to insert this new interval into intervals, right? So what I can do is I will simply insert this new interval into intervals at first or at last, as per your wish. Any at any place you can insert this new interval into intervals and approach it like a merge interval problem, right? We can do that, right? Because if we do that, we need to sort this, and again we will simply use this merge intervals. I think that will be an easy problem, right? Suppose we insert 25 at first position, then we will sort it. Now it becomes an intervals, and you can use merge intervals separately, right? So let's code it, because space complexity will be of, I think we are not we are not taking an extra array, because I am just playing on in this given array, input array, and this time complexity value of n, because I am just iterating one time, right? So let's start. So this is intervals dot size, right? Now I will insert dot end. I will insert this new interval at end, so simply this new interval, right? After inserting, I will just sort this dot begin dot end, right? Now I will iterate it from 1, right? I will iterate it from 1, and so what I will check this, if this, for simplicity I will take an extra array. Okay, so what I can take is an temp vector to store this 0th, right? So what will I see if this intervals ith 0 value is greater than equals to this temp 1th value, right? this is the same condition here, this current, and this is an overlapping condition, right? This is an overlapping condition which I just told you. If this is an equal, then what will I store? That I will simply consider that this temp 1th value will store this max of this in the current this current 1th, this current 1th and its previous 1th value, right? Because we don't know about end, so we will simply take this, right? And because why we are not changing temp 0 value, because it will be always minimum, its previous value starting is always minimum, right? Okay, I also need to take an extra vector for this to return an answer. So if this condition is not fulfilled, I will simply change this temp value to this intervals I, or I can simply take this push this value in my temp, and also need to change this temp to intervals I, right? So am I missing something, or it should work? If I am inserting this temp value here, then I also miss that I also need to include this answer.pushback. So I need to store its previous value, right? Because we are not changing its previous value, we are changing only its current value. So after fixing that, so right, so yeah, I will also check that whether this pushback is yeah, right. I also need to check whether this interval is 0. Okay, right. So this will be answer.pushback temp, and finally I will return an answer, right? Let's see if this works. So this will be intervals. Let's see whether we have any compilation error or not. Okay, so after insertion there will be an extra input, so this will be equals to 1. Now we will see current start and I'm storing this. Let's try run this. Intervals. No, sorry for that. The test case passes. Sample test case pass. Let's submit it. Yeah, we have passed this case. What we have done, I have done simply that after 1, I am change whenever I am confirmed that this temp value will not change, so that will be the previous value, right? So when this overlapping condition will not fulfill, then I am sure that its previous value is fixed. Now we will not modify that previous value. So I am just inserting that into my answer and changing that current interval I to this temp to see changes in this, right? So yeah, and at last I am pushing that temp value, because whether we are changing or not, we just need to push our last answer, because it will, if we don't do this, we will miss the last case, right? The last vector. We don't do this. See, this will be 2 5 and 6 9 will be missed, right? So yeah, this is the answer. Thank you.